good afternoon to you and welcome to Lunchtime News, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studio here in Colombo. I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into the stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines. Gampula Vithanage Samantha Kumara alias Veles Sudha sentenced to death. Hunger strike launched by detainees arrested on charges of having suspected links with the LTTE enters third day. The UN Human Rights Council interfering in internal affairs of the country is a defeat to Sri Lanka and its people, a statement from the JVP. First test match between Sri Lanka and West Indies gets underway. Moving on to your stories in detail now. Gampula Vithanage Samantha Kumar alias Veles Sudha was sentenced to death by Colombo High Court Judge Preeti Padman Surasena today. Veles Sudha was charged with possession of heroin and peddling drugs in Mount Lavinia. After the case heard, Veles Sudha was found guilty and was sentenced to death. He is also charged with importing heroin into the country, and investigations are yet to be completed into this charge. Another case has been filed against Veles Sudha, his wife and a relative for owning property worth 170 million rupees earned through the drug trade.
The accused knows, and Vidana Patiranalage Samantha Kumara alias Veles Sudha was sentenced to death today. The case number is 5166-2014. There were two charges filed in this case. The Attorney General has filed a case for the possession of 7.05 grams of pure heroin. The other charge is peddling 7.05 grams of heroin. According to the provisions in the Act, he was handed the maximum punishment, which is the death penalty, as the charges against him were proven beyond reasonable doubt. The sentence was handed down by High Court Judge Preeti Padman Surasena.
The Capital Maharaja Organization Limited has been invited by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs to be represented in Geneva, Switzerland at its World Humanitarian Summit Global Consultation. The global consultation is scheduled to commence today and will be held until the 16th of October.
The event, that will be chaired by UN Under-Secretary General Stephen O'Brien, will see over 900 global leaders come together to shape discussions that emerge from regional consultations and help frame outcomes for the summit. The summit is seen as part of the personal vision of UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. The Capital Maharaja Organization has been on the forefront of humanitarian relief efforts, almost always responding first during times of national crisis. The UN sees the World Humanitarian Summit as an opportunity to broad-base humanitarian relief and response by bringing in all stakeholders to a single platform. The Capital Maharaja Organization, which was also represented at the recent UN regional consultations held in Tajikistan, will embody the sole Sri Lankan representation at the global consultation in promoting private sector collaboration on emergency preparedness and response, where it will examine action areas and recommendations that have emerged from consultations that have already taken place and showcase what can be done to influence the future. In what is perhaps the first for a Sri Lankan, Shevan Daniel, Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited, has been invited by the UN to be the master of ceremony for the duration of the consultation.
Two LTTE suspects engaged in a hunger strike have been hospitalized. Commissioner General of Prisons Rohana Pushpakumara said that the hunger strike launched by the detainees who were arrested on charges of having links with the LTTE is yet to be called off. Commissioner General of Prisons Rohana Pushpakumara said that the health of the detainees will be ascertained today.
Commissioner General of Prisons Rohana Pushpakumara said that the detainees who were arrested on suspicions of links to the LTTE had staged a hunger strike at the Colombo New Magazine prison, Batticaloa, Jaffna, Anuradhapura and Bandarvela prisons. The hunger strike started on the 12th of this month in a bid to urge the officials to secure their release. 201 suspects, including 4 women, are being detained in prisons located on several parts of the island under charges of associating with the LTTE. The Colombo Magazine prison has detained 101 prisoners, while the Anuradhapura prison has detained 30. Few suspects are also being detained at the Velikada, Bogambara, Trincomalee, Kalutara, Batikala, Badula, Gaul, Jaffna, Polonnaruwa and Monaragala prisons. While Newsfirst inquired about these detainees from Minister of Justice Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, he said that the detainees are not political prisoners and that political prisoners are not detained in any of the country's prisons. He added that the Ministry of Justice cannot take a decision with regard to their release, noting that only the government can take a decision in its capacity to secure their release. He added that a total of 225 suspects are arrested on charges of having links to the LTTE. The minister noted that a fraction of these detainees are being issued court orders citing punitive measures, while some are being detained while legal measures are being taken against them. He added that all the detainees charged with having links to the LTTE are being detained for major offences such as murders and planting bombs.
On to a headline-making story now, the first in a series of conferences organised by the JVP regarding the Geneva Resolution took place in Colombo.
The conference, which took place at the auditorium of the Colombo Public Library, was held under the theme Geneva yesterday and tomorrow. The fact that an internal affair issue in our country was taken to the Human Rights Council is a defeat and a disgrace to Sri Lanka and its people. Now, while this government is enjoying this string of proposals and trying to score points from it, on the other side we have the group who were with Mahinda Rajapaksa and who were defeated, shouting that the country has been betrayed. They shout now as if nothing happened while they were in power. They speak as if all the betrayal took place at the 30th sessions of the Human Rights Council. The United States is interfering with our internal affairs and pointing a finger at us, not for the love of safeguarding our human rights, but instead to follow their own agendas. There is no doubt that we have an issue in our country. However, if this government cannot or does not take the initiative to solve it, we feel that we should establish a government who can do so rather than having an enemy intervene in our matters.
The campaign titled For Our Children, to ensure the protection of children and to build a better future for the children, entered its 10th day today. This island-wide awareness campaign is organised by Newsfirst, together with the Ministry of Law and Order and Prison Reforms. The campaign was organised to raise a voice against child abuse and harassment against children. One leg of the campaign commenced opposite the Mihintale police today. The awareness campaign, which got underway near the Mihintale police, reached the Mihintale public fair later on. The campaign saw the unwavering support of the Three-Wheel Owners Association attached to the area. A group including the Divisional Secretary of Mihintale, the Police OIC, as well as the principal and students of the Vijay Kumar Tunga Vocational Training Centre participated in the campaign. Another leg of the campaign got underway in Bandaravela. The campaign, which commenced from the main bus stand, toured across the town, raising awareness among the masses. The Bandaravela United Trade Union also rendered its support for the campaign. The program will reach Haputale today. The body of the late K. Velayathan is to be brought to the island this evening. Former Minister K. Velayathan passed away last evening. K. Velayathan, who stood out as a distinguished politician, passed away while receiving treatment at a private hospital in Chennai, India. Born in the year 1950, Karupaya Velayathan Devar was 65 years old at the time of his demise. He was a father of two. K. Velayathan entered Parliament for the first time in the year 2000, representing the Badulla district.
Lanka.